Hello, everyone. It's been a long time since I've posted to this YouTube channel, but a couple of weeks ago, I shared on my Instagram account that I had busted my Apple Pencil by accidentally throwing it across the room, something I don't think I could replicate again if I tried. And so I mentioned that I had purchased a new one, but because it was going to take a week and a half to arrive, and I'm an illustrator, so I use my iPad and my pencil and Procreate all the time. I thought I'm going to give one of these cheap knockoff pencils from Amazon a shot and see if it can get me through the next week and a half. So when I mentioned that, several people asked if I could do a review of the two pencils. A few of those people had kids who wanted an Apple Pencil, and of course, they are a little bit more expensive, a lot more expensive than the fake pencils that you'll find on Amazon. So I said, sure, why not? And after using both for a few weeks, I'm here to tell you my thoughts. So this is the Apple Pencil. It is the Apple Pencil 2. There are several Apple Pencils, so make sure you get the one that is compatible with your iPad. So I have an iPad Pro 12.9, and I think it's version 4. I'm not sure. So this is the pencil that is compatible with my iPad. The knockoff pencil I got from Amazon is the Meta Pen. And so the Meta Pen was 25.99 Canadian. I believe it was on sale. I think it was regularly 28.99. I could be wrong. That did not include taxes, and I have Amazon Prime, so I had free next day shipping. The Apple Pencil was $189 Canadian, including taxes, and shipping was free. So big difference in the price there. Let's find out why there's such a big difference in the price. So here are the two pencils. As you can see, they look almost identical. They're the same size. They have the same flat edge. It's hard to see in here. That is magnetic, so it will snap to the side of your iPad for easy carriage. Helps you from it getting lost, I guess. They are, one is a little heavier than the other. The Apple Pencil is about 3 grams heavier than the Meta Pen. And it doesn't sound like much difference, but when you're holding it in your hand all day, it is a big difference. And I actually preferred the heavier pencil. It felt more solid in my hand, and I felt like I had better control over it. So just something to keep in mind. So one thing you might notice on the Meta Pen is that there's this little bar. It's not actually a bar. It's actually a USB connector. Here's the USB cable. So to charge this pencil, you need to plug it in to a USB port. It's the only way to charge it. That is one big difference between it and the Apple Pencil. So the Apple Pencil charges when it's snapped to your iPad. See, you can see there's a little charging notification. That's how this charges. So one of the things about that makes it really handy is whenever you go to pick up your pencil from the side of your iPad, it's fully charged. You don't have to worry about it. With this pencil, because it doesn't charge when it's connected to your iPad, you have to be very aware of how much charge is left. And one of the things that I found a little bit frustrating is there were several points where there was maybe just a few minutes of charge left before the red light came on saying it was time to charge me. There is a little red light. It's very hard to see. Don't think the camera's showing it very well, but it has a red light right now because the battery is pretty much almost dead. And so then I would have to stop, plug it into charge, and that took about 20 minutes 20 minutes to 30 minutes for a full charge. Um, so just something to remember. And the charge rarely lasted more than a day, even and with very minimal use because I actually found that I couldn't do a lot of illustrating with this pencil. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, for $25.99, big deal. Just remember to plug it in before you go to bed and it'll be ready and waiting for you when you get up in the morning. So that was one of the big changes. One of the nice things with the Meta Pen though is it came with 2 extra nibs. The nibs do wear out, but if you need an extra nib with your Apple Pencil, you have to purchase them as a separate accessory. But this came with 2 extra nibs, which was really nice. However, this was one of the things I really didn't love about this pencil. The first nib I had on, when I used it to draw or write, it felt kind of scratchy on the screen. And when I started to investigate it, I noticed that there was a little bit of a line on the tip. And I thought maybe it was just this tip. So not a line, but more of a ridge. So I tried the other nibs. They all had the same thing in the exact same spot. So on closer investigation, I realized it was actually part of the mold. So when things are created in a mold, there's often a seam in the mold, and it is the seam, and it's right on the tip, and it makes it kind of scratchy for drawing and writing. And it also made me wonder how great it was for my screen. So from a drawing perspective, that drove me crazy. I did not like it at all. For just tapping and scrolling, no big deal, perfectly fine. Worked great. But with the Apple Pencil, this is completely smooth. It's so, yeah, just better design. This could easily be fixed by creating a different mold where the seam is in a different spot. Uh, Both of these work on Bluetooth. However, the Apple Pencil needs to be physically connected. It's super simple, very easy to do. This one, however, just seems to connect. It just, as soon as you take it out of the box, the iPad just knows that it's there and you're automatically connected. So again, not a big deal for either one, but this was very handy. The nice thing though with this, because you actually connect it to your iPad, is you can look for it. So I'm always putting this down in random places and not being able to find it and going into panic attack that I've lost it, and my iPad can tell me that it's nearby. So that's really handy. Other thing that was a little different with this one is this needs to be turned on and off. It goes to sleep. So when you pick up your Apple Pencil, it's always ready to go. It's always charging, and you just pick it up and you draw. This one, you actually have to double tap on it to turn it on. Again, not a big deal, but when I was used to not having to do that with this pencil, it was kind of just constantly habit, just going to draw and it's not working, and then remembering I have to double tap it to go. So those were some of the smaller difference. Here are the big differences if you're an illustrator, and where for me, this is a must opposed to the Meta Pen. So one of the things that the Apple Pencil has is the dual mode. So you can tap on the side and it changes the function of the pencil. And there's several different dual modes that you can set up for your pencil. The one that I use is that it defaults to drawing, and when I double tap it, it turns into an eraser. So that's what I use for drawing. And there's several others. I can't remember what they all are. You cannot do that with the Meta Pen. And here's the big difference. The Meta Pen does not have pressure sensitivity. The Apple Pencil does. And if you are an illustrator or you love to draw or you use this for drawing or even writing a lot, the pressure sensitivity is a must. So when you use the Meta Pen, imagine using a regular pencil. So when you're just drawing or writing with your regular pressure, you get a certain type of line. If you press harder, you get a thicker, darker line. If you press more lightly, you get a much lighter line. You can shade, you can do all those types of things. You cannot do that with this pencil. You can do that with the Apple Pencil. And so that is a huge thing when you are an illustrator or an artist using these pencils and your iPad and Procreate. So that for me makes the Apple Pencil a must-have for what I do. If you are not an illustrator or an artist, or you don't do a lot of writing with your iPad and your pencil, you just want something to help you scroll faster or to tap on it like an old school Palm Pilot, which I do all the time, then this by all means is completely fine. And you have to compare the price. This was $26. This was $189. Um, there's a reason this one is much more expensive, and it's a crucial difference for people who are using this for drawing and illustrating and artwork and that kind of thing. So for those of you who are asking, particularly for those of you with kids who were saying, they really wanted an Apple Pencil and you were a little bit worried about the price, here's what I would suggest. If this is for you, or your kid, if this is for your kid, love to draw. If you're always drawing, doodling with pencil, paper, markers, whatever you can get your hands on, and you'd like to take that over to your iPad and using a tool like Procreate, then I would by all means go with the more expensive Apple Pencil. If drawing is something you love to do and you do it all the time, it will be worth the investment. I think you would get frustrated with this very quickly. Now, if you don't draw on the regular, or you have a kid who says they would draw if they had an Apple Pencil, but they don't draw under any other circumstances, I would start off with the cheaper one for $26. Get them this, see if it actually encourages them to draw, see if they are using it, because you can always upgrade. You can always upgrade. If they suddenly show an inclination to doing a lot of artwork and loving to draw, and they're using other mediums to draw, then yeah, it's probably time to upgrade to an Apple Pencil. But if not, then I would just stick with this one. And I think another way to think about it is, art supplies are expensive, especially good quality art supplies. So, like a Copic marker, which is what I use for a lot of my traditional artwork, these retail around $10 Canadian. And there's over 300 colors. So, that adds up pretty quickly. I obviously do not have the whole collection. I don't know very many people who do. It's one of those things that you build gradually, but these are refillable and the nibs are replaceable, but still very expensive. And generally speaking, if you're an artist or an illustrator, you don't just work with one type of medium. So, I use Copics, but I also use Pitt markers. I use pencil crayons. Pencil crayons can get, or colored pencils if you live outside of Canada. I use Sharpies. I use all kinds of things. Those art supplies, good paper, all of that starts to add up really quickly too. So there is something to be said for investing in one of these if you do a lot of artwork. So I hope that has been helpful. And again, this is the Apple Pencil, and this is the $26 Meta Pen off of Amazon. I hope you found that helpful, and happy drawing.